Hey everybody, Ryan here, and the last eBay video I did where I talked about that big lot of cards that I picked up, there were a lot of questions around how I ship, so I thought I'd make a little video here how I do PWE shipping on eBay. So PWE, for those of you who don't know, is plain white envelope, so that means you just ship it in a plain white envelope. eBay provides you a label, and you are able to send that just through the regular USPS, either the blue mailbox or drop them off at your post office, or if you're just doing one or two cards, you can stick them in your mailbox and put your flag up. So we're going to look at that today, but how I ship, I do single card, multi-card transactions using PWE as long as the total stays under that $20 threshold that you are insured under with the PWE envelopes on eBay. Doing this, shipping this way, I've only had 2 issues out of 1,500 orders over the last couple of months where they didn't reach their destination, and both of those I was able to get my money back using the insurance that you get through eBay on PWE as long as they're scanned by USPS. So I'm going to go into it here. It's going to be a way to ship PWE. You'll probably see a lot of videos, a lot of different ways, a lot of ways people ship PWE cards. This is how I do it. It's worked out well, like I said, for me. I'm sure eventually there'll be some issues. The more I ship, the more higher chance you have that USPS might have one get caught up in a machine or just have an issue with. But this is how I ship. I'm going to show all the supplies that I use. I'm going to list all the supplies down in the description. If you have any other questions or comments or maybe ways you think I could do it better, definitely leave it in the comments below. Appreciate everybody watching the last few videos. Thank you to everyone who subscribed recently. We're closing in on 2,000 subscribers. Can't thank you guys enough. I really appreciate it. Love making these videos and talking in the comments with everyone. So thank you again. And let's get into how I ship PWE on eBay. All right, so everything out in front of me is what I use to ship PWE, whether it is a single card transaction, which we're going to look at, as well as how I ship multi-cards PWE. I've shipped over 1,500 orders this way over the last couple months, and I've only had 2 that didn't reach their destination, and both were covered under the insurance that you get when you use eBay standard PWE shipping. So I've had no issues with this, no damages. I'm sure eventually they will. You know, it happens with PWE. There's no set way to do this. This is how I do it. I'm sure there'll be some comments on how people do it other ways, but this is how I've done it and it's worked. So I thought I'd share it with you after having all those questions on the last couple of videos involving eBay. So with that said, we're going to go into how to do a single card first and then how I do multi-card transactions. So I've shipped PWE up to 10 to 12 cards using a different envelope, which you'll see in a second, but I've had no issues with those orders. They've all reached their destination. But we're going to go ahead and start with a single card and how I do that. So we're going to take a little bit of painter's tape. I know that might be controversial. I've seen people use team bags, but I just prefer the old school painter's tape. I think it does keep the card in there a little better. So we're going to go ahead and stick our penny sleeved card into our top loader. I do use top loaders on single card transactions. Just protects the card, and it's thin enough, usually on the 35 points, that it's not going to get caught up in their machines. So after I have the card top loaded, I take 2 of these Avery label stickers, which they look like this. You can get them on Amazon. It's like a 525 pack. I think they're $1.50 or something. And I just take 2 of these and I put one on either end of the card. These are easy peel too, so they do come off when they get to the buyer. And then when we put it into the envelope, this is a number 6 3/4 envelope. I usually get them at Sam's Club, but I did just see that they were deleted for them, and they're Self Adhesive. So we pull our Self Adhesive off, and we go ahead and seal it. So like I said, I usually get them at Sam's. I'm going to have to find another way to get them, probably on Amazon, I'm sure. But it's a 3 5/8 inch by 6 1/2 inch PWE envelope. So that's how I ship those, and then I take my single-use label, usually obviously would have someone's address on here, but I'd put that over the seal and then seal along the back, and that is how I do a single card PWE shipment. And as I said, I also do multi-card PWE shipments because I offer free shipping on 3+ cards if they're under a $20 individual price point. And what that does is just help promote some multi-card transactions, which will help you save on some eBay fees. Those transaction fees can really hurt you when you're selling low-end sports cards. So if you can get someone to package up 3 to 5 to 8 to 10 cards, and you're able to safely, securely ship them in a PWE, that's definitely beneficial to you as a seller. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So we're actually going to start with an A7 envelope, so kind of wedding invitation size. You can see here. And the way that I protect the cards when I do multi-card transactions is with card saver ones. So you can pick these up pretty much anywhere. I usually wait for them to be on sale somewhere and try to grab some bulk. So we usually have 2 card saver ones. So let's say this transaction was 5 cards. So we have 5 just base cards here as an example, 3 chrome cards, 2 paper cards. You just have to vary kind of which way you put the cards in here. You don't want to stick a whole bunch of chrome cards in one and then paper in the other, because they're going to be a little bit different widths. So I try to even it out the best I can. So we're going to put 2 paper in a chrome and then 2 chrome in one. So we just stick them into the card saver here. Again, I've shipped up to 10 or 12 cards here. 12 cards was all paper. I don't recommend shipping all chrome cards, or 12 chrome cards and 2 card savers. At that point, you should probably be upgrading to USPS Ground Advantage, because it is going to be a little thicker. And then I take a little bit of painter's tape across the top of the card saver. We take our 3 other cards into our other card saver, like so. We add a little bit of painter's tape to the top of that. And then what I do is take the 2 as they are like this, and I'm going to put a little bit of painter's tape on either side to keep them together in the envelope. This also just gives it a little movement, so it's not as hard to go through the machines. So once we have them taped up like this, we simply put them into, again, our A7 sized envelope. They fit pretty snugly in there. And I also just put a little bit of tape up at the top to keep it from moving around. Again, these are Self Adhesive ones, which are great. I definitely recommend you picking up the Self Adhesive. And we close that over. And we add our label on top. So shipping this way, you're able to keep your costs down, and maybe offer those kind of discounts to the buyer, because it will entice them to pick up some more orders. And as you can see, very thin still. You want to keep it under 1/4 inch to make sure it can feed through those machines at the post office. And again, I kind of just view it as a wedding invitation size, and most of the time wedding invitations get to you without being damaged. So, and it's pretty secure. You can see it doesn't have a lot of give to it, so it's just going to fly through those machines pretty easily. But that's how I ship multi-card and single card PWE. I will say occasionally on like 2 or 3 card orders, I will use a card saver in just the smaller envelope, as long as they fit securely. And then that also is able to save you some money on shipping costs. If you have a thicker card, like a patch or a patch auto or anything like that, that's a cheaper card, I sometimes do use the card savers as well instead of a thicker top loader, because the thicker top loaders do have a higher chance of getting caught up in those machines. So using a card saver gives it a little more rigidity, as long as you're not impacting the card thickness or the corners by putting it into a card saver. But I'm sure there'll be some comments, people who do it different ways. That's just how I do it. Like I said, there's no perfect way to do it, but shipping 1,500 cards this way over the last few months, I've had just those 2 issues. So it's worked out well for me. If I find anything that works better, I'll be sure to pass it along. But thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Let me know what you think of the comments. And if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them for you. Bye, everybody.